guys, I'm Marissa. Welcome to my channel, Dimokre Chronicles. If you're new here, Dimokre Chronicles is a channel based on the book series that I'm writing, also called Dimokre Chronicles. And today is a special, hopefully, treat. So a really long time ago, teenage Marissa recorded a bunch of projects. The video quality is terrible, but I'm still proud of the projects and what I learned in the recording process. So I found the footage that has already been edited, so I can share them with you now. So here is the first one, Huntress's castle. Enjoy! So the materials that I used are stained glass. It's very important to get a glare on that when you're taking a picture. Pipe cleaners, which honestly weren't that helpful. Popsicle sticks and wooden dowels. Newspaper, lots and lots of newspaper. And then all of these containers. A hot glue gun and glue sticks. You're probably going to need more than 2 glue sticks. Duct tape, scissors, very important, and all of these supplies. So water, glue, Elmer's or PVA glue would be fine, just really basic glue. Paint, cardboard, glossy or matte finish, whichever you prefer. I think I did glossy, and a tarp, because it's gonna get messy. I would have used clay. However, the clay that I have is really old. I still have it. I don't know why. I still have the clay, but it was dried out. So I'm pretty sure that you can like reactivate this kind of clay with water. But I didn't have time for that. So but I think that clay would be better than using the pipe cleaners and, you know, stuff like that. You probably wouldn't even really need to use paper mache either. But I worked with what I had because I didn't have a lot of money back then. Okay, so on to the procedure. Basic assembly / planning. That is the structure of the containers that I'm using that I want to make. Okay, so all of these bottles, they don't have lids. So I'm just cutting and gluing on pieces of popsicle sticks so that way the wooden dowels that I'm currently concocting, they can actually have something to be glued on. Just twisting some duct tape on, getting all the wooden dowels to be at least two wooden dowels in length. I'm really trying to help support that connection so that way they're not bending in weird ways. And then this is the fun part of gluing all of the hot sticks. You can see that I'm kind of like trying to let the glue dry a little bit before sticking it in. Yep, because otherwise they'll fall over just like that. I don't know why that pipe cleaner was pink. So I'm trying to kind of smooth over the connection from the bottles to the wooden dowels. If you're using air dry clay, which I highly recommend, then you don't really need to work on this connection as much. You can just use the clay. But all I had was duct tape, pipe cleaners, and paper mache. So I did the best with what I could. Now we're actually making the towers themselves. So it's just, yep, there's the air dry clay that I could have used, but it was too hard. It's very important to accidentally glue the project to the tarp that you're working on. And then, yep, I'm just gluing them on, structure by structure. I feel like I need elevator music. Doo 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 doo. Okay, so in this one I am cutting the shapes of the top, the center tower out of cardboard. I'm cutting a couple of the same shape so that way I can have a little bit thicker than just one piece of cardboard. I think the cardboard and the containers were a great structure, but it would have been a lot better if I were able to use the clay. But yeah, so I'm just trying to use duct tape to kind of smooth the edges, make the layers as tightly compacted as possible. And then I'm just jamming it into that bottle. Here I am drawing the window shape. With the cardboard, I wish that I'd cut out the windows before I glued them all together, because after I glued them all together it was too hard to cut them. So yeah, that's where they're all at, with drawn and duct taped together. And then I also had the windows drawn, and then I primed them. What I would do differently, if you're gonna try to do this but with a different building, or whatever you want, what I would do differently is I really wanted to have light in the glass, like fairy lights or something, so that way like you could turn it on and the whole castle would light up. Couldn't really go out and get fairy lights. I wish that I had at least set it up for me to be able to do it now, but I did not. So one thing that I would do differently is to cut the holes in the castle, like in the cardboard structures, before I glue them all together. And you can tape parchment paper so that way it makes the windows look frosted, and then that way the light from inside the castle can disperse evenly in the windows instead of like being really random bright fairy lights, so that's one thing that I wish I did. The second thing is I wish that I focused on building the shapes a little bit more to make them look more full, like how I actually imagined in the other 3 times that I've painted them. Yeah, so things I recommend. Making your building be able to light up, and then using clay to add detail and smoothing things out. Most of the supplies were pretty light anyway, so it did help on that front, but I would rather have a heavy display piece than something that doesn't look as good. It could be better, so I'm sharing my wisdom with you. Next is the stained glass windows. So I primed the windows that were on the cardboard, just that way no like ingredient text and that kind of thing would be showing through the windows. And then I painted glow-in-the-dark paint on them as well. I only showed one window, but I did that for both of the arching ones. Okay, so now I am cleaning the stained glass. I don't know why I cleaned it before I smashed them all apart. But then you smash them all apart. That's the before, this is the after. I applied the glow-in-the-dark paint real thick, as you can see, so that way it would be very vibrant. So yeah, and then I'm just gluing the stained glass pieces in one by one. It's actually kind of satisfying to watch it slowly fill up. I am using super glue just because I really needed a fast and strong connection. They will be cemented more into the piece later, when I do like paper mache and all that jazz. And then I just did like jewelry cement, or something to do like the grout in between the stained glass windows. I think puffy paint would work just fine. I don't know why I was being fancy. Okay, now it's time for the paper mache, which again, I would probably do before the windows, but let's cut the strips of paper and then do that like a million more times. And here I am just making the glue water mixture. It's usually about like half and half, but you can always just find something online, like a recipe, quote unquote, for paper mache. Keep applying it on, really trying to smooth all of those wrinkles out. If you're gonna use clay, then honestly it's not a big deal. And here it is all dry. And then I am just priming it so that way my paint will show up. Obviously, if you're using clay, you would wait until your clay has dried to do this step. Since my villain's layer is mostly black, except for the stained glass windows, I probably could have just gotten away with just painting it black, but I was using spray paint, so I wanted to make sure that the spray paint was able to stick. And then I taped up the windows to make sure that the stained glass windows wouldn't be covered up. All my hard work wasted, you know. I look like Spider-Man. And then I'm just spray painting it black. Okay, and then now I am painting in all of the little details. I already painted around the windows black, just with like acrylic paint. And then I don't know why, but I didn't think about like covering straight edges with masking tape, so that way I could be as messy as I wanted with the paint. So I only did that. It was really misleading how easy it was to mess up on a curved surface like the castle is. so I was like, whoa, okay, we're gonna need to use masking tape. Oh hey, my parents are walking around the house. This was recorded at their house, so I'm painting the border white. White really didn't show up very well on the spray painted surface, so I had to do quite a lot of layers. And again, I didn't think about doing the masking tape. Yeah, and I guess I didn't really record much about the wood, but I just kind of added a wooden texture, and I think I used gold paint for the doorknob. I also did some shading. You can kind of see that there's like a little bit lighter gray kind of shading on it. And yeah, that's it in the sun. So yeah, that is the final products. And actually I still have the palette right there. So thank you guys so much for watching. Yeah, I'm really excited to work on craft projects again and to work on YouTube channels. It's been a crazy few years since you last saw me. I'm no longer going to school anymore, I already graduated, so I'm really excited to get back into all of my millions of hobbies and YouTube channels. I'm really excited. So I'll see you guys next time. Thanks so much for watching. Bye!